Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going over a Try Hack Me room known as Vulnerabilities 101. So, actually this video is quite conceptual and it will contain more of a conceptual understanding based things, and you need to understand all these things that are being taught in the room. Okay, we are given some of the tasks and we need to learn about the things or the context which are given to us, and we need to answer those things upon the understanding. Okay, so that's the thing, and let's start with the task 1, which is introduction. So the task 1 talks about that cybersecurity is a big business in the modern day world, and there are several things, and actually this is not so important. It is talking about that we are seeing that there are vulnerabilities around the world and in newspapers, in Twitter, or several things are or other there which are exposing you to people who are finding vulnerabilities, who are submitting their CVEs. Okay, so in this regard, we need to know that what a vulnerability is, how it is exploited, and what are the other things related to it. Okay, and as a penetration tester or as an ethical hacker, you need to know these things. Okay, so that's essential for you. So we are going to be introduced to things like what vulnerabilities are. Okay, so the definition will be given to you, understanding will be made, and why they are worthy of learning about, why you need to know it. Because there will be times that you will be working in a industry and a vulnerability would be exploited, and all the user data or the important things will be getting down or getting exposed. Okay, so that's the thing. There are more of the reasons, and we will talk about it later in all those sections. And how are the vulnerabilities rated? This thing, it's not so important, but you can see it because when you are researching for the vulnerabilities, you need to know that what type of vulnerability you want and what the rate of it is. Okay, and the next thing is the databases for vulnerability research. Actually this rooms gives us only 2 databases only, but there are several more, and we will know about it later on. And the room will also showcase us that how vulnerability research is done. Okay, and that will be in the last part. As you can see, showcase exploiting Acme's application, and that will be the thing. So the task 1 is completed. Let's do about the introduction to vulnerabilities. What a vulnerability is. So a vulnerability actually is a weakness. Okay, it is a weakness or flaw in the design or implementation of a system. Okay, or application. Okay, so if you have a web application or a website which have an weakness, then you can call it as a vulnerability. Okay, and if you do the if you use the vulnerability to gain access to an account of the website, then you can call it as exploitation, because exploitation is a process. Okay, so exploitation is a process and vulnerability is a thing or a weakness. Okay, in the design or system or implementation. Okay, that's the things. Okay, that's the background for all those things. Okay, an attacker can exploit things by to gain access to unauthorized information or perform unauthorized actions. So a vulnerability is something that you can take advantage of. Okay, so that's the thing. And there are several definitions given by several organizations, but all of them count to the same and mean the same thing. Okay, so that's the thing. And vulnerabilities can originate from many factors. There can be many factors for the origination of vulnerabilities. It can include a poor design of application or an oversight of intended actions from a user. Matlab, for the meaning is that there can be some problems from the user side. Okay, it can be a weak password or a reused password, that can also trigger a vulnerability to happen. Okay, so that's all. And the next thing is we need to know about what are the main categories of vulnerabilities. Okay, so the first type of vulnerability or the category is for the operating system. It is found in the operating systems like Windows, Linux, and that can lead to privilege escalation. What privilege escalation means is that you get a user account, a simple user account, a low level user account, but you exploit some vulnerabilities and gain access to the admin account. You get full privileges. You can do whatever you can. That is called as privilege escalation. Okay, so I think that may be clear to you, and that is oftenly found in the operating system vulnerabilities. The next is misconfiguration based. Okay, or a configuration based, you can say. There is some problem or incorrectly configured application is there. There are some problem in the configured application or the service that may lead to exposure or the vulnerability. Okay, so that's the thing. For example, you can see a website exposing customer details. There can be several examples. There are so many e-commerce websites, and every day people are finding bug in them where the website is incorrectly configured, and people are getting all those customer details. Okay, so that's the thing. The next type of vulnerability is weak or default credentials. Okay, so that's from the user side. That's from the so that's from the user side, since people are having very weak credentials. Okay, so since people are having weak credentials, it can be easily guessed. Okay, so that's the thing. And the next thing is application logic. The next vulnerability type is application logic. It is for the poorly designed application. So when you see misconfiguration based and you see application logic based, there is a difference. It is for the incorrectly configured application, and this is for poorly designed application. Okay, so we can understand both of the differences from the examples. For application logic vulnerability, you can see that poorly implemented authentication mechanisms that may result in attacker being able to impersonate a user. Okay, so this is for the exposure only. Okay, misconfiguration based means that there are some configuration problems. Okay, application logic means that there can be privilege escalation types also. Okay, in this application there can be privilege escalation. Okay, and the human factor thing, the human factor vulnerability means that it can leverage human behavior. It is based upon the human behavior. Okay, for example, you send a phishing email to someone, and they believe that it is real, and they click on it and they submit all their passwords and things in there, and you get the access. Okay, so that's a human factor vulnerability. That is because of the poor capacity to understand about those phishing emails or the traps that are being created to them. Okay, so you need to understand all these types of vulnerability, and you need to be able to differentiate between them. Okay, and the next thing is the questions which are being asked. An attacker has been able to upgrade the permissions for their system account from user to administration. Okay, so what type of vulnerability is this? So as I said you before, that an attacker is able to upgrade its permissions. So it can upgrade its permissions so that it gets more privileges. From being a simple user, it gets towards the administrator account. So what that means? It means that it can do privilege escalation. Where are privilege escalation found? It is found in application logic also. It can be found in operating system also. But in operating system vulnerabilities, it is more often. Okay, application logic, it is not so able. It is about only user only, and it is less about the privilege escalation. Okay, so the operating system is our answer. Okay, so that's our thing. Operating system. Okay, so that's it. You managed to bypass a login panel using cookies to authenticate. What type of vulnerability is this? So here we are given that we can manage to bypass a login panel using cookies to authenticate. So that is the thing related to an application. Okay, it is related to an application where application is poorly designed, which can let us to implement some things or the authentication mechanisms, which can let us gain access. Okay, so that's an application logic vulnerability. Okay, so that's correct. Next we have the task 3, which is about the scoring system. It is not so important, but you just need to know that there are several uh, scoring systems, and the first one is common vulnerability scoring system, that which was introduced in 2005, and it is very popular. And there are several things that it considers before scoring the vulnerabilities. Okay, so first thing is, how easy is it to exploit the vulnerability. Okay, so it considers the practical application. The second thing is, do exploits exist for this? Okay, so it considers that it can be exploited or not. Okay, it's not just about that vulnerability is there, someone can exploit it by the fear only. So the third thing is, how does this vulnerability interfere with the CIA triad? If you know CIA triad, it stands for confidentiality, integrity, and authentication. Okay, if you just search about CIA triad, if I just search about CIA triad, it is known as confidentiality, integrity, and availability. I'm sorry, I messed up the last. It's not authenticity, it's availability. Okay, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, so there were several rooms before the release of this vulnerabilities 101 room, which were talking about the pen testing fundamentals. If you haven't checked it out, you should check it out, and you will know about the CIA triad in more depth. Okay, so that's the thing. And the advantages and disadvantages of CVSS are there. Okay, and you can see there are the rating, none to the 0, none is for the 0 ones, and low rating is for the score of 0.1 to 3.9, and there are more. You can see it out by yourself, that's not a very big problem. Okay, so the thing is, you can know about CVSS and about its disadvantages and advantages, but the thing is, it's not so important for you to know about it. Okay, when you are researching for those vulnerabilities or the exploits during a pen testing thing, then you can just go around Google and just try to search for exploits only, not about seeing that what is the site giving us. There are several sites, there are several databases which we are going to talk about in later in the task 4, and that's not a very messy thing. Okay, but let us talk about it, that what are the advantages of CVSS, that is common vulnerability scoring system. The advantage is that it has been with a long time. Okay, so it has experiences, and CVSS is popular in organizations. Okay, and CVSS is a free framework to adopt and recommended by organizations such as NIST. So this is not so important. Okay, it is open source, you need to know that. And the disadvantage of CVSS is that it was never designed to help prioritize vulnerabilities. Instead, just assign a value of severity. So it just assigns the value of severity. It does not prioritize a vulnerability. It does not say that you do this and you will be secured. Okay, so that's a problem with it. And CVSS actually assesses a vulnerability on an exploit being available. Okay, and only 20% of all the vulnerabilities have an exploit available. So that's a good thing for us that less vulnerabilities have exploit available, because that makes people very secure. Not very secure, but good security. The next thing is that vulnerabilities rarely change scoring after assessment, despite the fact that new developments such as exploits may be found. So the scores are rarely updated, even if the exploits are found. Okay, so that are the advantages and disadvantages. Let's move on to the vulnerability priority rating, VPR. So it is more about vulnerability management, and it is a modern framework. And the next thing is that unlike CVSS, VPR scoring takes account of the relevancy of vulnerability. Okay. So if there is a no risk regarding a vulnerability, if that vulnerability does not apply to the organization, so it is organization specific. Okay, VPR is organization specific. Let's move on to the rating. The rating is similar to the CVSS. Just you need to know about it. Okay. Let's move on to the advantages. So the VPR is a modern framework that is real world. Okay. So that's the thing. And the next thing is VPR considers over 150 factors. Okay. So it has wide range of factors, and VPR is risk driven, and it is used by organizations. So it is organization specific. So if one organization is vulnerable to vulnerability A, then it will say about prioritizing the vulnerability A for that organization, and for the another one it will be vulnerability B, C, and many more will be there. Okay, so I said you that it is organization specific. Okay, and scorings are not final, and they are very dynamic. That means that if in future there are exploits available for it, then the scoring will be changed. So that's a good thing. So the disadvantage of VPR is that VPR is not open source. That's a problem. Okay, but CVSS was open source. The next thing is VPR can be adopted a part of a commercial platform. So you cannot be doing it by an individual. It is done on a commercial platform only. The next thing is VPR does not consider the CIA triad. So the CIA triad or the industry standards are not so considered in it. And let's move on to the questions. What year was the first iteration of CVSS published? That's very easy. You can see the context. It was 2005. The next question is, if you wanted to assess vulnerability based on the risk it poses to an organization, what framework would you use? I said you that VPR is organization specific, and this question talks about a specific organization. So VPR is the answer. Okay. If you wanted to use a framework that was free and open source, what framework would you use? So CVSS is open source as well as free. So the answer is CVSS. Let's talk about vulnerability databases. So when you are doing exploit research, then you will find many vulnerability databases. The prominent ones are NVD, ExploitDB. There will be many more like Rapid7 when you are using the Metasploit. Okay, then it will be very handy to know about Rapid7, because Rapid7 provides us the frameworks or the scripts that are being used in Metasploit. Okay, so it will be very handy for you, and you will know this or understand this after some time when you know Metasploit. So the next thing is that NVD and ExploitDB, and let's talk about the terms. Okay, the vulnerability, the exploit, and proof of concept. So vulnerability, as I said you, is a weakness or a flaw in the design, implementation, or behaviors of a system or application. Okay, that's the thing. An exploit. What is an exploit? An exploit is something which can utilize a vulnerability, which can use a vulnerability to gain access, to do a certain action, to gain some authentication techniques. Okay, so that's the thing of exploit. The next thing is POC or proof of concept. It is a technique or a tool that demonstrates the exploitation of a vulnerability. So it just stands for the technique that it is okay, that it is good to go. Okay, so that's the thing. NVD is not so important, and it is actually talking about all publicly categorized vulnerabilities, and it is shortened as common vulnerabilities and exposures, or CVE. Okay, and you can see the format: CVE, year, ID number. Okay, and for the famous malware WannaCry, CVE 2017 0144 was there. Okay, so while this website helps us keep track of new vulnerabilities, it is not great when searching for vulnerabilities for a specific application or scenario. So that's not good for us. Next, we move on to the exploit DB. It is very useful for us. Okay, and it retains exploits for software and applications stored under the name, author, version of the application. And when you are researching for exploits, it will be very handy. It will be very useful for you. Okay. Okay, so that's the thing, and we move on to the questions. Using NVD, find how many CVs were submitted in July 2021. Let's move on to the NVD's website to find out this. And it's talking about July 2021. So let's move on to the list of July 2021. As you can see, National Vulnerability Database. And in July 2021, there were 1585 entries. Okay, so that's our answer, 1585. So that's the case. And who is the author of exploit DB? So if you don't know it, then you can go over the website of exploit DB. Go over the website and you will scroll to the downside, and you know that exploit database by Offensive Security. Offensive Security is the same organization which gives you the certification of OSCP. Okay, and which is known as the OSCP, and as well as it makes Kali Linux. Okay, the platform which you use for exploitation or hacking. So it is by Offensive Security. Let me write Offensive Security. Okay, so that's correct. Let's move on to the task 5. Task 5 talks about an example for finding a vulnerability. In order to find a vulnerability, we need to know about the version of the current application or the system. Okay, if you have the system or the web application which is based upon Apache Tomcat 9.0.17, then you can just search about it at as you can see, I will give you an example: exploit and then Apache Tomcat 9.0.17, and you can see there is Rapid7. There is Rapid7 which talks about the Metasploit framework. Okay, I agree. And you can see it is for the remote code execution. Okay, that's the thing. We need to find about the any other exploit DB. As you can see, it is also there. Okay, so there is the exploit. You can download the exploit or read it. You can see the exploit is there. Okay, so that's the thing. That's how you research a vulnerability. You know the version, you get over internet, you search on the Google about the exploit, and you find a certain website, a certain trusted website which which have the exploit. Okay, so that's the thing. Great. After searching exploit DB, there are several, total 5 of the exploits. And if you just search about it, you will find that there are several exploits about it. You can do it by yourself. So, what type of vulnerability did we use to find the name and version of the application is in this example? So, what type of vulnerability did we use to find the name of version of the application in this example? So if you just see that there was version disclosure, okay, and so since there was version disclosure, so we write about version disclosure because that was the vulnerability with us, okay, because the application let us know about the name and version. So we move on to the task 6, which is about the practical application. Let us do it. Let's view the site and let's see the context. It is your first week on the job as junior pen tester at some company. For your first engagement, you are shadowing or working under a senior pen tester. Okay, and we have to deploy the site attached to this and follow the steps, and need to know that how our vulnerability was exploited. Let's see. It's a first week as the junior penetration tester, and to ease the role you are under the senior pen tester. Okay, so we are working to find a vulnerability on the client Acme IT services. Okay, we need to follow the steps, and you can see there are several things given to us. Okay, from this person it has came that we need to do the engagement and test this IP. Okay, we click on the next and we need to do the information gathering. So for gathering information, several things are being used. Okay, and at this stage the senior pen tester has used some public service or an open source service that compiles some data about the target company. And if you scroll down and see that the company info has establishment date, and clients, number of clients are 800 plus. It is a business type of corporation and its purpose is IT support services, and there is the CEO with his email. Okay, so that's the thing, that's a information disclosure, okay, or information gathering. So we move on to the enumeration and scanning section. So in this section we need to scan upon a certain IP which is given to us using nmap. Okay, so that's the thing, and we just run a nmap request and we will get some results. Okay, so we have the results. Okay, so we have the results that there are 997 closed ports and 22 TCP is open, which is running SSH. 80 is running, port 80 is running at HTTP. 443 is running HTTPS. Okay, so that's all the results you gather. The next thing is that application testing. When we found out that there was HTTP running on port 80 and HTTPS running on 443, so we go over those websites, we go over those sites and do our thing, that is guessing some random passwords, trying to get access. Okay, so that's the thing. And if you see, if you notice on this portal, there is also some information or version disclosure. Here it is, the version is 1.5.2, so it is talking about the version. And the next thing is that the senior penetration recalls that Acme IT service uses the Acme portal, and that has a version called this. The senior pen tester visits a vulnerability and exploit database like exploit DB called vulnerability bank. We call it as vulnerability bank, but it can be said as exploit DB also for in real life. So we can search here. We can search here for the exploit of Acme portal 1.5.2. we just copy it and we just paste it. So here we are. It is for the remote code execution, so we can remotely execute a code, and that will be helpful. And we have gained some vulnerability research examples. Okay, so that's a practical example. The next thing is exploitation. When you find out exploit, you run the exploit and do your thing, and you gain the engagement. Okay, you gain the access, so you become the administrator. Okay, so that's the thing which is being said here. And the flag is THM Acme engagement. Okay, just I will copy it and paste it. Okay, so the question is completed. Okay, so exploit was successful and abused the remote code execution, and we were able to launch a reverse shell on Acme's infrastructure. Okay, so that's the thing. And we have successfully exploited a system by tutorial. Okay, this is not a real tutorial, but it is given you a simple thing that how it is done. You search for an exploit and you do your thing. So you will be given more of the rooms about this if you click on this module, but it is for the actual premium members. Okay, so if you have the premium membership, go on and do your thing, complete those rooms and keep learning, and goodbye. If you like this channel, please subscribe. Thank you for this.